Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. But most people don't know they are infected. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you can still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease that often has no symptoms. In fact, people can live with hepatitis C for decades without feeling or looking sick. But over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage, liver failure, or even liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected with hepatitis C. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 1965 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
Hey, honey, take your blood pressure medication.
Thanks, dear.
Daddy?
Yeah, Mikey.
Are you going to the hospital again for a heart attack?
No, son. Bad medication from a fake online pharmacy sent me to the hospital. My pills didn't have enough of the right medicine for my blood pressure. We learned the hard way that it's important to buy medication only from sites that have either been approved by NABP or that end in .pharmacy, so we know they're safe. Okay?
Okay, Daddy.
Many rogue online pharmacies sell medications with too much, too little, or the wrong medicine, and counterfeiters may even use harmful fillers to make cheap pills. The National Association of Boards of Pharmacy urges everyone to make sure their online pharmacy is legitimate and to watch in coming months for more websites with a .pharmacy URL. These have been vetted as safe and legal. Learn more at safe.pharmacy, a public service from the National Association of Boards of Pharmacy.
I'm a firefighter.
A teacher.
I'm a farmer. I'm a barber.
A waitress.
A mom.
We're all part of your community. Every day we move in and out of each other's busy lives.
It's easy to take for granted all the little moments that make up our everyday.
Some are good,
Others not so much.
But that's life. It's when you experience a moment of uncertainty. Something or someone's behavior that doesn't seem quite right.
These are the moments to take a pause.
Because if something doesn't feel right, it's probably not.
It's not about paranoia
or being afraid.
It's about standing up and protecting our communities.
One detail at a time.
because a lot of little details can become a pattern.
We
trust our instincts.
Just like you should.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
Hi, I'm Sherry Shepherd. You probably know me best as a co-host on The View. More importantly, I'm a mom. I talk to a lot of moms, and I'll tell you what, we all want the best for our babies. But each year, more than 500,000 babies are born prematurely, and this can lead to serious health problems. The good news is that now if you're pregnant or a new mom, you can get easy access to information to keep your baby healthy. It's through a free service called Text for Baby. Pregnant women and new moms get timely, expert health tips sent directly to their cell phones. The tips will help you care for your new child in each important phase of early development. Get Text for Baby. Free messages on your cell phone to help you through your pregnancy and your baby's first year. Just text BABY, B-A-B-Y, to 511-411. That's BABY, B-A-B-Y, to 511-411 for the health of your baby.
When my landlord said rent could be cheaper if we were friends with benefits, you know, I'd heard of sexual harassment in the workplace, but at home?
Broadcasting from the Technology Recycler Studios, this is Indy's Mobile News, 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. The news starts now.
Telling Fox News a Marshall Islands flagged oil tanker in the Gulf of Aden hit by a projectile launched by Yemen's Houthi rebels today. Fox's Stephanie Bennett has the latest.
A U.S. Central Command saying the ship issued a distress signal. That's when the USS Carney and other coalition ships came to assist. We also know that the oil tanker has links to the U.K. and flies under the flag of the Marshall Islands. Now, the Iran-backed movement says it targeted the Marlin Luanda in response to American-British aggression, they claim. Following that attack, the U.S. military says they acted in self-defense after they struck and destroyed a Houthi anti-ship missile aimed at the Red Sea. U.S. Central Command forces say it presented an imminent threat to merchant vessels. The Houthis have launched dozens of attacks on commercial vessels traveling through the Red Sea, one of the world's busiest shipping lanes, of course, forcing companies to divert their vessels around South Africa.
This airstrike is the 38th Houthi attack since November 19th. The Houthis say they're targeting vessels in support of Palestinians in Gaza. Congress is debating a border bill that could allow up to 5,000 people to illegally enter the country per day. Fox's Chad Pergram on Capitol Hill with more.
House Speaker Mike Johnson says he's only hearing, quote, rumors about the Senate plan. Johnson says the bill is dead on arrival. Senate conservatives are suspect of the secretive negotiations. Some conservatives oppose a border deal because it could undercut House Republicans and former President Trump. But other Republicans prefer a solution. The right bashed Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell for boosting the talks and not endorsing former President Trump. If McConnell gets a majority of Senate Republicans on board and the Senate breaks a filibuster, it's unclear if that changes the equation in the House.
Record crossings in December. America is listening to Fox News.
Stay on top of the latest forecast with America's Weather Team in the palm of your hands.
Here's the latest from America's Weather Center.
It's Fox weather updates throughout your busy day, every day.
5 inches of rain by tomorrow.
Temperatures being 30 degrees above average.
Put the power of over 100 meteorologists and the worldwide resources of Fox in your hands with the Fox Weather Podcast. Precise, personal, powerful. Subscribe and listen now at foxnewspodcasts.com. Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now.
President Joe Biden campaigning in South.
Tonight, showers likely across the area. Some will mix to snow in the early morning hours. Low temperatures in the low to mid 30s. Sunday, we're starting off with a morning rain-snow mix. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
Your next new vehicle is coming from Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield, where you get more out of your next service appointment at Andy Moore Ford. With Ford Pickup and Delivery, they'll come to you. Andy Moore Ford will pick up your vehicle, service it, and return it to your home or office. It doesn't get much more convenient than that. And you could say hello to more rebates. With federal and state incentives, you could save more on your EV purchase. Plus, with updated federal regulations, you can claim up to $7,500 instantly on site. Who doesn't want to save more? Andy Moore Ford is your place for a new or used Ford vehicle. Talk to them today about their service, talk about their selection, and if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. It's a new year and you've waited long enough for a new vehicle. Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield, 2713 East Main Street, 2713 East Main Street, or online at andymoreford.com. That's Andy Moore, M-O-H-R, andymoreford.com.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
The Indianapolis Public Library. More than just books. Visit your local branch today.
50 years ago, Brown versus Board of Education outlawed segregated schools, promising the American dream to everyone. The dream of Oliver Brown was quality education for all children. But in many schools, children are being left behind. The responsibility of educating Indiana students rests on us all, from educators and administrators to parents and community leaders. Brown's dream of a quality education is the birthright of every Hoosier and a civil right guaranteed to us by the state of Indiana. If you feel your civil rights or those of your child have been neglected, or that your child has been purposely denied access to the education resources, you have options. Call the Indiana Civil Rights Commission at 1-866-FAIR-FOR-YOU. That's 1-866-332-4748. Or visit our website at in.gov/ICRC. This message is brought to you by the State of Indiana Civil Rights Commission.
When was the last time you practiced your home fire escape plan? Be sure everyone in your family knows what to do if there's a fire. Get out, stay out. It's your fire safe response.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This is the Second Amendment, and this is the Gun Guy.
Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, bang, bang.
With Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
Well, good evening and welcome to a little bit delayed, the Gun Guy Show, but we're glad you're with us. I am not in a particularly good mood right now because I was on my way to the studio, come down here and do radio, realizing we're probably only going to have one out of our 2 hours. I came up over a slight rise and hit pretty much the Lake Michigan of potholes, or the Grand Canyon of potholes. I mean, Indianapolis streets right now, yeah, I know, got cold, it warmed up, it got cold, it got warmed up again. I get all that. You know, precipitation. But I mean, the streets of Indianapolis right now are in god-awful condition. And I'm actually having a little service done on my car. I'm driving my wife's car, SUV. Hit a pothole so nasty that it flattened both tires. This isn't an SUV. Both tires on the left side. So yeah, my car, my wife's car, is parked in a safe location off of the road, but I had to Uber the rest of the way to come do radio. And then I'm going to go deal with AAA and all that fun stuff in the rain and otherwise miserable weather, and we'll get that handled. But allow me to vent for just a minute. And this doesn't have a whole hell of a lot to do with Second Amendment issues, I grant you. But my God, the streets of this town are in horrible shape. And that's not okay. I mean, what do you pay taxes for? What do you pay taxes for? We don't pay taxes for people to regulate our constitutional rights as they're constantly trying to do here in Marion County. We don't pay taxes so they can teach us what they consider to be their moral lessons on equity and inclusion and diversity. We don't pay taxes for it. We only pay taxes for so the garbage gets picked up on time and the roads are in decent shape. That's why we pay taxes. We pay taxes for the services the government has contracted with us to provide. And all this social consciousness crap that gets thrown at us all the time, that huge resources are invested in this town, and that for some reason they can't quite seem to keep the roads in decent shape. So that's as said by someone who just got 2 flat tires and had to Uber to the studio to come do radio and lugging around, because I went to the range earlier today. I actually went down, did a little business and did some shooting at Range USA in Greenwood. So I'm coming up Madison. So if you want to know where this humongous chuck hole is, by the way, if you're listening to this going, hey, Guy, wait a minute, I'd like to know where this this Grand Canyon of a chuck hole is just south of Epler, coming north on Madison in the left-hand lane. And let me tell you, there's a little bit of a rise right there, a little bump in the road anyway, and I was paying attention. I never saw it. I came up over this little rise and boom, I'm in the Grand Canyon, 2 flat tires. I'm guarantee you, this thing is going to claim a lot more tires than mine. Guarantee you. Because I'm in a damn SUV. Hell, if I was in my car, I have more of a performance car with low-profile tires. It would have devastated my car. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get into more of what you actually tune in to the Gun Guy Show to talk about. But by the way, feel free to pick up the Mayor's Action Hotline and contact them and say, what the hell's going on with the streets in this town? Because it's not okay. And all the other crap that we get from our government needs to be set aside while they do their jobs and actually have roadworthy streets in this town. Important week coming up this week on one particular issue, and this is a hot button issue of mine as it relates to our Second Amendment rights here in Indiana. And I've touched on this, and I touched on it last week. There was another bill last week that I mentioned that I testified on, and it had to do with privacy relating to transactions at gun stores, at firearms-related institutions. And that was House Bill 1084. I testified in favor of that here about a week and a half ago and was able to report on it last week. And this has to do with these credit card codes that credit card companies have created at the insistence of gun control groups, of anti-Second Amendment politicians, anti-Second Amendment advocacy groups like the Brady Campaign and the different Bloomberg groups like Moms Demand Action, etc. They've created this credit card code that would code your transactions if you use your debit or your credit card at a gun store. And it wouldn't record what you bought, because the ostensible reason for this, by the way, is these people, and I talked about this a lot last week, the purported reason is, well, we need to be able to monitor these purchases at gun stores so we can track potential terrorist activities or the next mass shooter. As I talked about last week, that's completely ludicrous because it doesn't record what I bought. If I go into a gun store and buy a $4,000 safe, big upright steel safe, I'm going to have mounted, in a secure manner in my home, store all my firearms responsibly. All it shows up as far as this credit card goes is Guy Relford spent $4,000 in a gun store. If I go in there and buy 8 AR-15s for the same amount of money, because I'm the next terrorist plotting a terrorist act, all it shows is the same thing. Besides, what if I'm a firearms instructor, as I am, and I want to buy some AR-15s that I want to use in my rifle classes? Because it's America's rifle. It's the most commonly owned rifle in America. So I want to have enough rifles to teach classes, and I want to have the ability to rent firearms as part of my classes. Totally legitimate as a firearms instructor. Absolutely nothing indicating that I'm going to be a mass shooter or a terrorist. So what? I'm going to appear on an FBI watch list? So even if it did track what you're buying, it makes no sense. But it doesn't track what you're buying, so it additionally makes no sense. And there's this bill introduced last week. It was introduced at the beginning of this session, but it had a hearing. I testified on that. What essentially, this is House Bill 1084, entitled Privacy of Firearms Financial Transactions, that would actually prevent the use of these credit card codes. And by the way, the reason they want to do this, I talked about this last week, make no mistake, the reason they want to do this is not to track activity that may identify the next mass shooter or next terrorist. It has nothing to do with that. They know it. We know it. It's all an excuse. What they're actually doing is they're setting up the ability for your bank or your credit card company to actually deny your transaction. When they're going to go approve or disapprove of your transaction, which ought to be based solely on whether you have that much available credit on your credit card or whether you have that much money available in your checking account on your debit card. They're not going to look at that. They're going to go, hold on, there's a transaction at a gun store. I know. We'll just deny it. Well, essentially end the ability of gun stores to allow the use of credit or debit cards in their stores. And if your goal is to put gun stores across this entire country out of business, what a fabulous way of doing it. What a fabulous way of doing it. We'll just end their ability to use credit or debit cards. And when, by the way, at the hearing on this, on 1084, I'm testifying, and one of the Democrats on the committee in the House, I believe, Banking and Financial Institutions Committee, I believe is the name, piped up and said, well, people could still use cash, couldn't they? Yeah, okay, yeah. Why don't you open any retail store and only take cash and see how you see how long you stay in business. And that's exactly what I said to this Democrat representative. Open any store. Open a restaurant and only take cash. And there are some of those. My understanding is Working Man's Friend, which is supposed to have the greatest burger in town. I've never been there. I went by once on the Harley, or a bunch of Harleys parked out front, and it was such a huge crowd we decided we didn't want to wait. That was years ago. But they're kind of an institution here in town. Just open a typical business in this town and don't take credit or debit cards and see how long you stay in business. Not going to be very long. And that's the goal. I absolutely believe it's part of Operation Choke Point. That was an announced program. It was a dedicated program during the Obama administration. It said we're going to accomplish what we can't accomplish in the legislature. We're going to try to accomplish through the courts and through the financial industry. That is, putting gun-related businesses out of business. So they went after their insurers. They did this to the NRA. And this whole lawsuit that the NRA's caught up in now, and by the way, I'm not saying NRA was pure as the driven snow on how it spent your money and my money. But this lawsuit going on in New York, talking about the financial abuses of NRA leadership, including former now executive vice president and leader of NRA, Wayne LaPierre, all that was initiated. All that got caught up as part of this Operation Choke Point. To look at financial issues as a way of not only forcing the gun industry, but gun rights advocacy groups out of business. There are credit card processors, including one called Square, that won't do business with me as a firearms instructor. Won't do business with the 2A Project, the gun rights organization I started here in Indiana. Well, why do you suppose that is? Well, I don't know. They have some woke management there that decided this on their own, or they got approached by anti-gun groups saying, hey, you know what? You can help us out with what we're trying to accomplish here. Well, there's another bill directly related to this, and this is Senate Bill 28. And it's time to take a break. When I come back, we'll talk specifically about Senate Bill 28, but it is set for a hearing this Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. in the Insurance and Financial Institutions Committee in room 130. And I'll repeat all this throughout the show because this is an important priority for me for this show. Senate Bill 28 set for 8:30 this coming Wednesday morning, the 31st. It's in room 130, which is actually the basement. They call it the first floor, but when you walk into State House, you go down a floor and find conference room 130. We're going to have a hearing, and we want you there. I'll go more into what this bill really means and what we're trying to accomplish through this bill. But this is authored by Senator Jim Toms. Jim is one of the all-time great advocates for gun rights we've ever had here in Indiana. He authored our preemption bill, which is huge, which is why anti-gun people are trying to amend it or repeal it every year. But I'll talk more about Senate Bill 28, what it really means. It's also related to these financial issues that the anti-gun people are trying to use to attack us as gun owners and as gun businesses. I'll talk more about all of that when we come back. Right now, we're taking a break. This is Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
This could be one of the most consequential elections in our lifetime.
Who will be our next president?
Next senator.
Governor.
And just as important,
who will represent us in the General Assembly?
You have a voice with your one vote.
Unhappy with the current state of affairs?
You can do something about it.
Voting is one of our most important rights as Americans.
It's how you can stand up for your beliefs,
your values,
and for future generations.
Registration to vote in the May primary is open through April 8th.
From 93 WIBC and Urban One.
Guy Relford for Pinnacle Firearms in Carmel, located at 598 West Carmel Drive. These are my good friends. I go way back with these folks, and it's a great place not only to shop for firearms, ammunition, and accessories, but they have a full-time on-site gunsmith, which is really rare in gun stores anymore. And by the way, I just used them last week. I installed a new extended slide stop on a SIG 365, my everyday carry gun. And as I did so, and in the process, the fire control unit pretty much started grenading on me, falling apart. And I got it back together as best I could, but at some point hit a glitch, just could not complete the process. Hey, I went by Pinnacle Firearms, full-time on-site gunsmith. They got me right back running, and that gun's in my holster, sitting here right in the studio as we speak. They have custom Cerakote services, and I've taken advantage of that as well. I have a beautiful 870 Police Magnum short-barreled shotgun that they Cerakoted for me in an urban camo that is completely badass. Those are the kind of services you can get at Pinnacle Firearms. Check them out at pinnacle-firearms.com or stop by and see them at 598 West Carmel Drive, just a little bit north of Carmel Drive at the corner of Clark Street. Check out my friends at pinnacle-firearms.com.
Your health is about so much more than your medical needs, so shouldn't your health plan be too? If you qualify for Medicare and Medicaid, a Humana Medicare Advantage dual eligible special needs plan could help you buy essentials you need. Get $3,000 a year for eligible groceries, rent, utilities, and more. Plus, whatever you don't spend rolls over to the next month. You'll even get benefits like $0 copays on routine prescriptions, plus routine dental, vision, and hearing coverage. Get peace of mind with a Medicare plan that is there for the big moments and every moment in between. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a coordinated care plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the Indiana Medicaid program. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal. Allowance amounts cannot be combined with other benefit allowances. Limitations and restrictions may apply.
Has the holiday season left you overwhelmed, stressed out, and overweight? Do you feel frustrated when you think about what you need to do to be healthy and feel better? You deserve a simple approach to a stronger, healthier, and more enjoyable life. Exercise Inc. has been helping people in Central Indiana reach their health and fitness goals for 20 years. The approach is simple. Strength train with a certified coach once a week for 20 minutes. Adopt the 9 simple habits you need to follow to change your health and lose weight. Then get out there and enjoy life, because you'll be stronger and have more energy, and you're going to feel better, and you'll lose weight, and you'll probably even look better too. And you may even be able to get off of some of those prescription medications. Exercise Inc., Avon, Brownsburg, Greenwood, Zionsville, and now in Fishers. The studios are private, no mirrors, no music, and no spandex. Just you and a professional coach working to reach your goals for the new year. Go to exerciseinc.com today to sign up for a free consultation.
Don't miss a dunk, a rebound, or a game-winning shot.
Lob it up, throw it down, Toppin!
You gave it to us. Get ramped up. Catch your blue and gold this weekend.
Oh, that's Buddy Hield.
Buddy Hield brings down the house.
The Pacers close out the month of January with a Sunday matinee against the Memphis Grizzlies. It's the Grizzlies' only trip to the Fieldhouse. Get your tickets at Pacers.com. Pacers Grizzlies, Sunday at 3:30.
500 Guns is just east of the Speedway and the Viaduct on 16th Street. 500 Guns is your classic old-school gun shop with the best service in Indy. You have to experience it to believe it. Joe and Guy Montgomery and their friendly staff are there to help you if you're a first-time gun owner or looking to add to your collection. They buy and sell single guns or entire collections. Visit 500 Guns today on West 16th Street or spell out the words 500guns.com. 500guns.com.
Indiana Pathways for Aging helps Hoosier Medicaid members age 60 and over get support at no additional cost to live life their way.
Mom's Parkinson's is progressing, and Pathways provides in-home support so she can be with family every day.
Pathways coordinates Medicaid and Medicare services. I'm getting help with meals, personal care, and transportation.
One day, I might choose a nursing home, but today, I have options with Pathways.
The program begins in summer of 2024. Call 87-PATHWAY-4 or visit in.gov/pathways.
Let Bill Estes put you behind the wheel of the powerhouse brands that define American toughness. Ford, Chevy, Ram, and GMC. BillEstesTrucks.com. BillEstesTrucks.com.
Indy Humane. Find your new best friend today. Visit indyhumane.org.
Second to none on the Second Amendment. This is The Gun Guy with Guy Relford on 93 WIPC.
And Welcome back to our abbreviated version of the Gun Guy Show here tonight. And listen, it was a entertaining IU game. I was listening to it on WIBC, and in part while I was stranded on the side of the road due to the colossal pothole I hit that flattened 2 tires on my wife's SUV that I was driving. So I'm in the doghouse over that as well, because of course that was my fault. But hey, I'm here now, and we got a lot of important things to talk about, including this bill. It's set for a hearing this Wednesday. And listen, Senator Jim Toms, as I mentioned right before the break, is the author of this, and he's one of the folks who's been right there in the trenches fighting for Second Amendment rights in Indiana for a damn long time. Again, he authored the preemption bill that prevents local governments from regulating firearms. That is all that's standing in the way right now of Joe Hogsett and the Indianapolis City County Council from banning concealed carry of any firearm in Marion County. They've already passed the ordinance. It goes into effect as soon as the preemption law, state law, again authored by Jim Toms, as soon as that's either amended or repealed to allow that ordinance to go into effect. They would have an assault weapons ban here in Marion County. Again, goes right into effect. If and when, and it's a hell of a big if, I don't see this happening in my lifetime, but then I'm old, of the Preemption Act being repealed or amended to allow them to do so. But that's who Jim is, and it's not just that. He's done a lot of other great things, and he's authored this bill, Senate Bill 28. And listen, he got a hold of me this last week. We've been talking about the bill for quite some time, and he was very excited that this bill's getting a hearing, because let me tell you, the financial industry and the banks don't like the bill. And yeah, we have some clout. We, meaning Second Amendment supporters, have some clout in the Indiana General Assembly. And Indiana State Rifle and Pistol Association, the NRA, and certainly the 2A Project. And I will brag to anybody who lets me that we were right out front. That is the 2A Project, the gun rights organization that I started, on constitutional carry that we got done in 2022. But we have some clout in the General Assembly. But let me just tell you, the lobbyists for the banking industry have some real pull. And the banks, credit card companies, they're big donors. And listen, I'm not nearly the cynic that some people are, even some people right here at WIBC, on legislators and their objectivity and their ability to go forth and do what's best for Indiana citizens. But let's just admit that some of those lobbying activities, and frankly, sometimes just the dynamics in the room at these hearings, can make a big difference. So Senator Toms got a hold of me. Senator Toms has put the word out that he would like a strong presence at this committee hearing from those people supporting this bill and people willing to show up and testify. And let me tell you how that works. There's a lot of confusion about this. People don't really know how this works. I've testified, I don't even know how many times. I mean, I don't think it's triple digits yet, but it's probably getting somewhat close in the sense of testifying at committee hearings on why the legislature should or should not pass a particular bill. And sometimes I'm in there testifying because I wrote the bill. Other times I just think, like Senate Bill 28, I had nothing to do with writing it, but it's a damn good bill. And here in the time we have left, I'll get into the substance of it a lot more. But what allows me to testify at these committee hearings is because I have a radio show on WIBC? No. Is it because I'm a lawyer? No. Is it because I have some special permission or I'm a registered lobbyist? No. Long before we formed the 2A Project, I just showed up. That's what it takes. It's what it takes. And for instance, Kelly, we call him Kelly from Avon, Kelly Myers. He's a frequent caller to the show, and I see Kelly down at the State House all the time. I saw him down there a couple times already this session. We're both testifying in favor of the same bills. Kelly now is co-director of legislative affairs at the Indiana State Rifle and Pistol Association. But that's not what ever allowed him to testify, because he testified a dozen times or more, many more, before he ever achieved that title. He achieved that title because he was so involved, because he was so good at showing up and supporting legislation that advanced our rights or opposing legislation that diminishes our rights. And that's the point I want to deliver to you folks today. And that is, it's just showing up. And if you don't want to get behind the microphone and testify, that's fine. Just being in the room. I would love for you to, wear a 2A Project t-shirt or a 2A Project hat or both, as a lot of people do, just to give a visual signal as to what side of the debate you're on. Because let me tell you, the Moms Demand Action people, it's not nearly like it used to be. Years ago, one of the reasons I formed the 2A Project, I got really frustrated. And you've heard me talk about this here on the Gun Guy Show before. I'd show up to these committee hearings. I mean, we fought for constitutional carry for 10 years. Or even like I was fighting for the self-defense immunity bill that I wrote, and you've heard me talk about many times here. It was introduced and championed by Jim Lucas. We'd show up to fight for that bill. It'd be me, the local NRA guy, and an entire room full of ladies or people in red T-shirts that say Moms Demand Action. And let me tell you, they're vocal, man. They clap, they boo, they hiss, I don't mean that in a derogatory sense. They make it obvious where their sentiments lie and what they want legislators to do. And the dynamics in the room make a difference. And I got tired of being the small minority of gun rights support. I kept looking at it going, there's more of us than them. There's so many more of us than them, but we don't show up. We don't show up. We're not sitting in the room at these committee hearings, and it makes a difference. The dynamics in the room, I'm telling you, I've seen it too many times. They make a difference. And that's exactly why Senator Jim Toms wants people to show up Wednesday at 8:30 in room 130 in the State House on Senate Bill 28. I'll get more into the details on that. And by the way, a couple people have called in. I'll go to the phone lines as well. Right now we're at the bottom of the hour, but we want you there. We want you there. And if you want to testify, if you want to say why this is a good bill, or you want to say how you've been influenced, and let me just tell you, you've heard me mention it before. Not long ago, I had what I called the gun shop roundtable. And I had 5 owners of gun shops sitting right here in the studio. They all had their own microphone. And we just talked about what was going on, what were they seeing. And this was at the tail end of COVID. We were talking about how they survived COVID, what the struggles were. And at one point, I started thinking about this financial issue that is directly related to Senate Bill 28, which I'll get more into. And I said, by the way, have y'all ever experienced any discrimination by financial institutions? And by the way, that's what Senate Bill 28 is called, discrimination by financial institutions. All 5 hands shot up. They'd had banks close their accounts. They had credit card companies refuse to do business with them. They had credit card processors refuse to do business with them. So it's real. It's a real issue. I've experienced it personally, as you've heard me talk about. That's what Senate Bill 28 is about. That's what we'll go into more when we come back. Right now, we're taking a break. This is Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
We feel.
Do you feel like we do?
Feel it as soon as you step out the door.
What you feel.
Bundle up. Feels like winter.
It's going to be more like summertime.
Do you feel like we do?
All the feels.
It feels a little like winter.
Feels more like summer.
Of fall.
It's kind of the clash of 2 seasons.
Weather. When you need it.
The ebbs and flows this time of the year is so evident.
On your official fall weather station. 93 WIBC.
Denise has been playing jazz for 40 years. Last concert, one of the musicians fell sick with RSV. Respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, is a highly contagious virus that can lead to breathing problems. This time, she's choosing to help protect herself with Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo. Abrysvo is a vaccine for the prevention of lower respiratory tract disease caused by respiratory syncytial virus, RSV, in adults 60 years of age and older. Abrysvo is not for everyone and may not protect all who receive the vaccine. Don't get Abrysvo if you've had a severe allergic reaction to its ingredients. People with a weakened immune system may have a decreased response to Abrysvo. The most common side effects are tiredness, headache, pain at the injection site, and muscle pain. Ask your pharmacist or doctor about Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo, respiratory syncytial virus vaccine. For full prescribing information, please call 1-844-989-7284 or visit abrysvo.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Hey, it's Rob for the Bath Authority. If your bath or shower is old, outdated, has mold and mildew, or broken tiles, you gotta call my friends at the Bath Authority. The Bath Authority provides the highest quality bathroom remodeling products along with a world-class customer experience. Their modern, durable tubs and showers are designed with an exclusive high-tech polymer liner. What that means to you is it'll be low maintenance, resistant to mold and mildew, easy to clean, and last for decades. Plus, it comes with a lifetime warranty. Elevate your bathroom to a new level of luxury, style, and safety. Schedule your free in-home estimate today and get $1,000 off a new shower or bath. Plus, 36 months of interest-free financing. Yeah, I 100% did not stutter. 36 months of interest-free financing. My friends at the Bath Authority, thebathauthority.com, a better bath awaits.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by HelloCalo.com.
Fox News, I'm Jack Callahan. 24 states pledging support for Texas in its battles with the federal government over protecting its southern border. Florida's Attorney General Ashley Moody.
So you have a state trying to secure the border, a federal government tearing down everything that they're doing. And so while you have a state pushing back an invasion, you have a president aiding and abetting an invasion.
Texas defied a Friday deadline to open up a park on the Rio Grande River to Border Patrol agents. The U.S. and several other countries suspending aid to a UN relief agency over Israeli intelligence that a dozen of its employees took part in the October 7th terror raids in Israel. California Democrat Congressman Amit Berra telling Fox News.
The agency hires the folks on the ground to deliver the aid. But if folks were involved in the heinous October 7th acts, then they've got to be held accountable. Those were war crimes.
America is listening to Fox News.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish. Minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
The Christmas holiday is done. You got some great gifts, and you might find that you've got some old jewelry you're not going to be needing anymore with all that new jewelry you got. Take that old jewelry to PA Jewelers. Check out the buy room and find out how much you can get for that vintage jewelry and those gemstones. Talk to PA Jewelers today. They're more than a kiss. Inside Premier Arms, 3754 South Green Street in Brownsburg. 317-858-3030. 317-858-3030. Online at premierarms.com.
The deals and specials are sizzling hot. It's the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show next Saturday and Sunday at the Johnson County Fairgrounds in Franklin. The best dealers in the region. Hundreds of tables. Just $6 for adults. Kids 12 and under get in free. Must be 18 or accompanied by an adult. Buy, sell, trade. Next Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Johnson County Fairgrounds in Franklin. For more info, visit centralindianagunshows.com.
the show about gun rights, gun safety, and responsible gun ownership. This is The Gun Guy with Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome back. I'm Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC. Glad you're with us. I love this. I just got a comment. This is on my law office page from some idiot named Mark Smith who says, your show is a joke. There's no tax base because you Republicans don't pay taxes. That's why we have potholes. I know you don't give a damn about children being slaughtered. It goes on from there. Mark, apparently you're listening. Let me just say you're a moron. If you add up the total number of dollars that go into the tax base, as between Republicans and Democrats, there's really no dispute. Republicans pay a hell of a lot more taxes because a hell of a lot more Republicans have jobs and are working and are not on the government dole receiving free money that taxpayers pay in to the government so you can redistribute wealth and give them to the people who don't work. And how do you think that's distributed? So if you think there are potholes because you don't think Republicans are paying enough taxes, you're a complete idiot. You couldn't possibly be dumber. Call the show, 317-239-9393. Let's have a discussion on the air. I will bury you, bro. Come on. And because I support the Second Amendment, I support children being slaughtered in schools? No. I've trained teachers. I've trained security guards. I've trained school resource officers. I've trained police officers, all of whom have as their primary mission in that context protecting children in schools. And by the way, who are the shooters? The people who show up and murder people. The trans female in Nashville who showed up and murdered those kids in that school, you think she's a Republican? Look at the demographics of who you're talking about. I don't typically respond to morons on social media. I just happen to be looking, and my goodness, the idiocy that comes across from people like Mark Smith. Real name, wink, wink. Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, let's get back into what the show's actually about. Again, I tend to ignore those things more than any other. More often than not, I should say. But my goodness, sometimes the idiocy that comes across social media is just mind-boggling. Let's go to the phone lines. And we've got Anthony Wayne, it says. Had a question about a house bill. Anthony, you there, bro?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, what you got?
Yeah, okay. Real quick question. This had to do with House Bill 1235 that went through the third reading and fortunately passed. But its author, Chris Jeter, during the debate on the floor, was asked an interesting question about whether or not the Second Amendment protected gun dealers and gun manufacturers and obviously distributors, et cetera. And he shocked me when he said, no, it doesn't.
Well, wait a minute. And back up just a minute. What bill are you talking about specifically?
House Bill 1235.
Oh, 12. Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, I was there. I testified in favor of that. Okay. I got you. 1235. Got you. And he said the Second Amendment doesn't protect you as against what?
It doesn't protect gun dealers and manufacturers. He was asked if it did, and he said no. This was during the debate on the floor.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So, all right, I got you. Well, I mean, there are a lot of rulings. There are a lot of rulings out there. And by the way, thanks for your call. I appreciate it. There are a lot of rulings that say, for instance, putting all of the gun stores out of business in a particular location, as different local government entities have tried to do, violates the Second Amendment. Because if you eliminate the availability of firearms, you eliminate the right to bear arms to a very large degree. And commercial activities, to the extent that it is a direct attack on the right to keep and bear arms, can absolutely be considered to be a violation of the Second Amendment. Now, sometimes and this is a distinction that you hear people talk about, and I've talked about it myself, that the distinction you need to be aware of is that the government protects, or excuse me, the Second Amendment protects you from the government. That's what I was trying to say. It doesn't protect you as against private businesses or against commercial activities that private businesses may make. It protects you against the government. That was the whole idea of the Bill of Rights. And a lot of times people on both sides of the debate get this wrong, where it's all a limitation on the government. The Bill of Rights in its entirety, including the Second Amendment, they don't create any rights. And that's why, for instance, in the Declaration of Independence, there's this long discussion about natural rights. And it is the responsibility of government, the goal of government, the purpose of government, to protect those natural rights that the citizens already possess. And one of those natural rights is the right to defend yourself, defend your family. And the governments are, again, instituted among men to preserve these freedoms, to paraphrase the Declaration of Independence. But the Bill of Rights is all about the idea that the founders wanted to call out some very specific rights that they wanted to make sure the government would not infringe. And that's why the Second Amendment's worded the way it's worded. That's why the First Amendment starts off, Congress shall pass no law. It's a limitation on the government. Now, again, Second Amendment's a little broader, just ends with shall not be infringed. It means infringed by the government. That's the context. That's the purpose of the Bill of Rights. So, and I was there at that hearing. I testified at the hearing that you're talking about, Anthony Wayne, and I don't recall that comment, but it could have been in the context of what the Second Amendment actually relates to and what it doesn't. And I'll tell you what, we're a little past the 3/4 hour. Well, let's take a break. We'll come back. We got Kelly and Avon, my buddy that I just mentioned, co-director of government affairs at Indiana State Rifle and Pistol Association, and Bill is called in. We'll see what we can get through here in this last segment of this abbreviated segment of the Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
The National Toy Hall of Fame has announced its new class. Baseball cards, Cabbage Patch Kids, Fisher-Price Corn Popper, that little thing you push, and Nerf.
Yeah. Nerf?
Nerf made it in.
I think I'm good with the list. Literally, I think a stick is in the National Toy Hall of Fame.
It is.
Who didn't make it?
Slime. It's a staple of Nickelodeon.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Guy Relford for Tactical Firearms Training. And our most popular courses are Essentials of Indiana Gun Law course. We've got a couple of those coming up. Saturday, February 24th at Indy Arms, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And also Saturday, March 23rd out at Parabellum. We always love teaching the course out in Avon. You can sign up for either one of those. It's $50 for an individual, $95 for couples. It's 4.5 to 5 hours of the most important legal information that you need as an Indiana gun owner. You can sign up right online at tactical-firearms.com. Just click on upcoming courses at tactical-firearms.com.
You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Rob for Universal Windows Direct. If you've been cold in your home, do not suffer through one more winter in a cold and drafty home. Call my guys at Universal Windows Direct. Universal Windows have this incredible technology developed by NASA called Super Spacer. Holds the window seal longer and makes the windows last up to 5 times longer than other Windows systems. So you get the best windows for your home within your budget, and they perform better and last longer. Plus, Universal backs it all up with a true lifetime warranty for as long as you own your home and 30 years to the next homeowner. Schedule your free in-home estimate today, and for every 2 windows you buy, you get the next 2 free, plus a free upgrade to triple pane glass. Tell them I told you to call and get an additional $250 off your project. For the last windows you'll ever need, go to universalwindowsdirect.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
500 Guns is just east of the Speedway and the Viaduct on 16th Street. 500 Guns is your classic old-school gun shop with the best service in Indy. You have to experience it to believe it. Joe and Guy Montgomery and their friendly staff are there to help you if you're a first-time gun owner or looking to add to your collection. They buy and sell single guns or entire collections. Visit 500 Guns today on West 16th Street or spell out the words 500guns.com. 500guns.com.
At First Financial Bank, we have 5% APY on money market accounts and high rates on CDs. It's easy. Just stop into your local First Financial Bank to open your account, and we'll do the rest. What are you waiting for? Start growing your money today. APY equals annual percentage yield. $25,000 minimum deposit required for money market. Offer ends March 2nd, 2024. Terms and conditions apply. Visit bank@first.com for details.
First! Retired or retiring soon? How much money do you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1, find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2, have a plan to get there. Step 3, make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all three with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. There are a lot of great dads out there. Sometimes those dads get divorced. For more than 30 years, we've represented men in divorce, confronting the pitfalls that could devastate your finances or harm your family relationships. While every situation is different, our goal is to get the best outcome for you and your kids. Visit CordellCordell.com to take the first step.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Indianapolis area attorneys. 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1250, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46204.
The latest local news, commentary from Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, podcasts. Listen to the station live, whenever, wherever, online at WIBC.com. Your rights, your responsibilities, your guns. This is The Gun Guy with Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome back to the last segment of the Gun Guy Show here on 93 WIBC. We only had an hour, a little less today, but we're trying to pack as much in as we can. Let's go to Kelly, my buddy, Kelly Myers, co-director of government affairs for the Indiana State Rifle and Pistol Association. And Kelly, look, I've been trying to get people out. I want to get butts in seats in room 130 Wednesday morning. This is the 31st to support Senate Bill 28, which is to prevent financial discrimination by financial institutions based on, it's broader than just involvement with the gun industry. It also deals with social credit scores that can consider, for instance, whether your company uses affirmative action in its hiring processes or whether you have a diversity, inclusion, and equity, or DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion program at your business, and some financial institutions are considering that, or whether to make you a loan, as opposed to whether you're just a solvent business that pays its bills. And so anyway, I'm glad you called in because I think that's the bill you want to talk about.
Oh, definitely, Guy. It's, like you said, it's like 1084 but different, which of course clear as mud. But it is broader, where 1084 looks strictly at the financial institutions, credit card processors. Senate Bill 28 is also looking at social credit scores, which is, of course, was invented by the Chinese Communist Party to keep a thumb on their people.
Yep.
And is just terrifying to probably to anybody listening to this show. And I am kind of embarrassed. This one snuck by me getting a hearing. I usually keep a better eye on these things. But, definitely we need to get some Pro 2A butts in the seats. I know an individual, I'm not going to use his name on the air, but he's going to be there testifying, for himself, which is always good to see when we get folks representing themselves there, which I did for a number of years.
Yeah, and that's a point I tried to make earlier in the show, Kelly, in the time we have, is that all it takes is showing up, and you can fill out a little form that just says, I want to testify, and they'll call you up, and you can make your voice heard. And and that's how you got started. That's how I got started. And there's no reason that somebody wants to support the Second Amendment or any other cause that's near and dear to your heart. I never criticize even the anti-2A people that show up and testify because you know what? They're participating in the process. They're making their voice heard. That's what democracy is actually all about. That's what this great constitutional republic's based on.
Yep.
And I'm a big fan.
Wonderful thing.
What's that, buddy?
The First Amendment is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, you bet it is. Well, thanks so much to Kelly. Thanks for calling. I'll tell you what, we've had Bob on hold for quite a while. Bob, we don't have a lot of time, brother, but you've been on hold for a while. I wanted to bring you in. What you got?
Hey, Guy. Got a quick comment and a shotgun question, but
yeah,
I know Mark Smith, and his real name is Ken, and his wife's name is Karen.
Oh, really? So, all right. So he's Mark Smith when he wants to just slander people on social media, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the upside.
What a coward, by the way. What a coward. I mean, you're not even going to use your real name. You don't want to stand behind your comments. Kiss my ass.
Exactly. So the upside to you ruin your wife's tires as a fellow Harley rider. I'm glad you weren't on your bike.
Yeah. Whoa. Okay. All right, Bob. Well, thanks, brother. Well, I'll tell you what. You're not doing me any favors with a ruin your wife's car or tires comment because that was the first thing she said. I was thinking I was going to get some sympathy. I said, man, babe, I was on the way to do radio and I hit this huge check hole and I got 2 flat tires and I had to Uber and I don't know how I'm going to get home. And I got, you're always jacking with my car. So I got no sympathy from Mrs. Relford on that. But in the meantime, that brings us to the end of this week's show. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you come back next week. This is Guy Relford on the Gun Guy Show on 93 WYBC.
Your next new vehicle is coming from Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield, where you get more out of your next service appointment at Andy Moore Ford. With Ford Pickup and Delivery, they'll come to you. Andy Moore Ford will pick up your vehicle, service it, and return it to your home or office. It doesn't get much more convenient than that. And you could say hello to more rebates. With federal and state incentives, you could save more on your EV purchase. Plus, with updated federal regulations, you can claim up to $7,500 instantly on site. Who doesn't want to save more? Andy Moore Ford is your place for a new or used Ford vehicle. Talk to them today about their service, talk about their selection, and if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. It's a new year and you've waited long enough for a new vehicle. Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield, 2713 East Main Street, 2713 East Main Street, or online at andymoreford.com. That's Andy Moore, M-O-H-R, andymoreford.com.
In order for small businesses to thrive, they need to be smart, efficient, savvy, staying ahead of the market at every turn, finding ways to do more with less, and taking advantage of every opportunity that comes their way. That's why Comcast Business is introducing the Small Business Bonus. For a limited time, you can get up to a $1,000 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle when you switch to Comcast Business, the company with the largest, fastest, reliable network. So if you're a small business owner, don't wait. Call or go online to learn about the $1,000 bonus today.
Give your business a head start in 2024. Get started with internet and security for $49 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement when you add 1 unlimited mobile line. Call or go online to switch today. Ends 2/21/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 100 megabits per second internet and security edge. EcoBill and autopay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.